Yeah, last session we discussed about working with all the browser objects in JavaScript, how to deal with them. Now, after understanding the browser objects and all, we need to understand about jQuery now. What is jQuery? What are the features and how it works? So, to deal with jQuery, first you must have complete knowledge of JavaScript. Because what is jQuery technically is, so it is a JavaScript library. It is a JavaScript library. jQuery is a JavaScript library. So technically, what is a library? Library is a set of library is a set of values and functions. Means it's a set of values and functions. Right. So library means it is a set of values and functions. What is the advantage of that is you can import, you can import and implement in any application. In any application. That means you don't need to write much logic for every functionality. So the main intention of jQuery is write less and do more. That is the official slogan of jQuery, write less, do more. Officially, jQuery comes with this caption. So that means you don't need to write much logic. So what is advantage of this is it is lightweight and faster. Lightweight and faster. So because less code, it is lightweight and it is more faster. Generally, you can do everything what you have done with JavaScript. So only the point is in JavaScript, everything you have to write much, but here less logic because already the written logic. They provided that in the form of function. You have to just call the function and use it. But for every purpose, they don't have a function. You have to write logic and function. But it is more simple than JavaScript. It makes another important point is it reduces browser compatibility issues. Compatibility issues because it internally handles browser compatibility issues. As a developer, you don't need to manually write for compatibility. It can handle the compatibility issues. Browser compatibility issues it can handle jQuery. Actually, jQuery was introduced in 2006 by John Resig. He introduced the concept introduced in 2006. jQuery library was introduced in 2006. So there are so many other JavaScript based libraries like jQuery, jQuery. There are several JavaScript based libraries like you have React JS, you have like Ember JS. So we have like Vue.js, we have Redux, we have like RxJS. So many libraries are there. Depending on requirements, depending on the situation and project, developers use various JavaScript libraries. So jQuery is not only JavaScript library. Similar to jQuery, so many libraries are there. So what is the purpose of jQuery? Same like JavaScript. That means jQuery is used for client-side interactions. It is used for DOM manipulations. It is used for interacting with API, communicating with APIs, consuming the data. Already we learned that Ajax. We have used Ajax in JavaScript itself. In JavaScript, we used a fetch method. By using fetch, we can communicate with API. But we can do better in jQuery. It provides more facilities, more features. So we will see that how we can handle and manage. So jQuery can do all DOM manipulations, client-side interactions, everything. So how to use this jQuery and how do we handle, we will see that. So now we will see how do we set up jQuery. Already you have learned that set up jQuery for project. In a project, if you want to use jQuery, already you installed it. What you have to do, npm install jQuery. Already we done that. In Bootstrap itself we done. Because in Bootstrap we used jQuery. So already jQuery is there in our project. We already installed jQuery in the project. You have to just install jQuery. So, and how to import jQuery and how to use jQuery, simple. So let's go to the project here. I will add a new folder, jQuery, and add a new file, jQuery, and new file home.html. Now here doc type HTML head title jQuery. In the body, I have some paragraph. So in the paragraph, I want to display some message. Then first you have to import jQuery. So script, how to import jQuery already we know. Script source, node modules, jQuery, dist, jQuery.js. It is the core library of jQuery. And if you have observed this jQuery.js file, let's see this jQuery.js file. Open that jQuery.js file. This is that file. You can use control click to go to that file directly, or you can open in node modules. You see here, this is the jQuery library file. Observe carefully here. This is having a parenthesis and a function. So that means actually jQuery is having a a parenthesis and a function. What does that means? What does that means? What does that syntax means? What does that syntax means? This syntax means anonymous function. It's anonymous function, na? Already we learned anonymous function, right? I have shown this parenthesis. In a parenthesis, we can write an anonymous function. In functions concept, we discuss how to call an anonymous function. An empty parenthesis is used for calling an anonymous function. So we discussed that anonymous function. How do we define? So entire jQuery library is an anonymous function. To invoke it, you need this parenthesis. And very important is this entire jQuery library is present inside this function. That is actually the global function. You can observe here, there is a word called factory. In software development, you will hear this concept very regularly. While building the libraries, you will hear that. Actually, we will have values, and we will have functions. What happens is related type of values and functions are kept in a factory. That means factory is a collection of values and functions. For example, suppose we have different types of factories, like we have a string factory, we have array factory, we have math factory, we have like history factory, like this. That means all string related functions are present in string factory. Array related functions are present in array factory. That means a collection of related type of functions and data is present in factory. If I want to use this factory in my project, generally we don't directly use the factory. These factories are injected into service. The factories are injected into a service. Usually we have a service. The factories are injected into service. This service we generally use in application. That means this service we use in application. That means if anybody asks like, why can't you use directly a factory inside application? Why can't you use directly a factory inside application? That means a factory inside application. Why can't you use directly factory inside application? We cannot use a factory inside application directly because the problem with factory is factory uses single call mechanism, single call technique. Factory uses single call technique. Single call technique means you want one function, then you have to create one object. Through that object, you have to call the function. Finished. If you want the function again, then you have to create an object again. That means every time when you need a function, you have to create a new object. That means an object need to be created every time when you need a function to use. So that is called single call technique. That's not great. That is the reason we use service. What is advantage of service is Factory is injected into service and we use service inside application. What is the advantage of service? Why you use service inside application? The advantage of service is actually service uses single ton technique. Service uses a singleton technique. What is meant by singleton technique? Singleton technique means object is created only once, and the same object will be used for all requests. That means one object is enough to access the function any number of times. For example, suppose you have function 1 and you want to use it in application. Then application will create an object 1. Through object 1, it will access that function and use it. After it finished, if it want that function again, then it cannot use this object 1. So what it has to do is it has to create another object. Through that object, it has to call that function 1 again. If I want that function again, then again I have to create another object. For every time I need to create an object. This mechanism is called as single call. But if it is service uses a singleton mechanism. Anywhere in software technology, any technology, Java, .NET, PHP, Python, everywhere, wherever you hear the word factory, service, meaning is same. That means a factory means functions and values. We can use these functions and values directly in a project, but not recommended. Why it is not recommended? Because they use single call mechanism. Every time when you want to use it, you have to create an object. So what is best? Inject the factories into service and use services in your project. What is advantage of that? Service uses a singleton mechanism. Singleton mechanism means object is created only for first request. The same object will be used across any number of requests. That is the mechanism of library, how they work actually. So that is the reason you see in jQuery, you will find a factory. And to invoke here, we don't have a service. Library will not have a service. Usually this service, factory you will hear, factory is available in library. Services are available in a framework. In a framework, you will find services. Services are available in a framework. In a framework, you will see these services. So in JavaScript, you don't have, in jQuery, you don't have services. In jQuery, everything is a factory. You don't have services. That is the reason jQuery is not great for future generation. If anybody asks what is best than jQuery, then people say better use any framework. Like Angular is a framework, like Backbone.js, Knockout.js, these are all frameworks, right? That means if anybody says what is better than jQuery, framework, any framework is better than jQuery. So jQuery is up to now okay. In future, no use. In future generation, everywhere you will work with frameworks. So, but every time framework is not required. So for applications, that is the reason, depending on project requirements, some projects use libraries, some projects use frameworks. So that is actually difference also. Sometimes people ask, what is difference between React.js and Angular? Difference, one major difference is React.js is library, Angular is framework. So React.js is a library and Angular is a framework. That means a framework is always better than a library, but you don't need a framework every time. because it's huge for application in several situations. That's the reason we don't need framework every time. That's the reason both are trending. That means some project needs React, some projects need Angular. An experienced developer should have knowledge of both. Suppose if you are going with 3+4+ years experience in companies, they will require knowledge of Angular and React both. As a fresher, anyone is okay, but as a experienced person, you must have knowledge of both. Mandatory, because some projects will be using React, some projects will be using Angular. We are not sure. So that is the reason some experienced people should have knowledge of both of them. Both of them. You see, here you can observe. Suppose you have Naukri. You see, this is Naukri site. In Naukri site, for example, let's search for full stack developer. Full stack developer. Full stack developer. I'm searching for full stack web developer, and some results came. I'm searching for full stack developer, and some results came. And you see in the results, full stack developer results, you can observe here, they are asking jQuery. The full stack developer, they are asking jQuery. And you can see here, this, I will close it. Yeah. And you see here, so in a full stack developer, in see several projects, they are asking jQuery only. jQuery is there. That is experience, you can see 3 to 6 years experience. Why? Because already I told you, if they are asking jQuery means old projects, because already old projects are running on jQuery. And see, in some projects they are asking both Angular is required, React also required. Both are required. If you say I don't know, it's okay, we will go with other person who knows it, right? That means, that is the reason people generally ask sometime like, do I need to learn Angular or React? My friend said React is trending, my another friend said Angular is trending. Now you decide who is your best friend, React friend, Angular friend. So that's all rubbish things, right? These are all silly things in software technology. Don't ever trust your friends. Sometimes your friends, your cousins will say that you learn this course, I will give you, in my company there is job opportunity. In his company, he don't have job security. In his company, he don't have job security. He don't know when he will be kicked out. And he is assuring that I will recommend you in my company. That's all silly things. So that can't happen. Even your cousin is a manager of the company also, he can't take you. Not possible. Frankly speaking, the real world scenario I am telling you, not possible. In that case, I know every manager of MNCs. They are all my students. Right? In Hyderabad, in every MNC, manager is my student. I know them. And I can simply say that take this person, take that person. It's not possible. Nothing will happen. So don't ever trust on that. Depend on your skills only. Right? That can never happen at all. Zero. Right? Only the point is you will get first seat in interview. First they will call you because you are recommended by some manager. That's it. So it's not like they will give you a job based on the recommendation of manager or somebody. It can never happen. Zero. Right? So the point here is, even if I have a company, I will not take you. You are my relative, I will not take you. Why? Because I don't want skillless people. Right? So I can't waste my money and time on the skillless people. Right? That's the reason you should know that there is nothing like this is good technology, this is bad technology. Everything depends on the project requirements. And in the current generation, as a full stack developer, you must learn Angular and React to get a better job opportunities. So that's mandatory. So now what is difference between those two? React is library. So library is good for certain type of applications, but it's not enough for more. Then people go with framework like Angular. That's the reason some projects use libraries, some projects use frameworks. So in framework, you will come across with service. Here we have a factory. And how to access a factory? To access a factory, jQuery uses dollar. Dollar represents a factory. It represents a factory. So dollar symbol represents a factory. Through the factory, so that means now how to access jQuery main library. How to access jQuery main library. Here we are writing a script. In the script, now how to access jQuery factory? You have to access with dollar. What is the complete jQuery library? How to access? To access complete jQuery library, it's an anonymous function. That means now entire jQuery comes here. Entire jQuery comes here. So dollar represents the factory, and the factory contains an anonymous function. You have to call that anonymous function. And this is a function. Then it uses a callback function. So you have to use a function. This is the function. Now jQuery is ready. So that means what this will do? It will return all the functions inside the main function. That means, so the main function contains lot of functions. All the functions are returned. That means now here you can use all jQuery functions. You can use all jQuery functions. So to use all jQuery functions, there are so many techniques. This is one technique. That means automatically the jQuery library will be loaded. So it is loaded. In that we are accessing the factory because jQuery is a factory. So in that factory, lot of functions are present, and entire factory is built with a anonymous function. We call that anonymous function. In that anonymous function, we have to use this callback in order to return all the functions. This is one technique. This is one technique how we write. I will give you a syntax here. That means how we can configure. That means accessing jQuery in web page. So in that first step is import jQuery script. You have to import jQuery script. So jQuery's script is this. Script is nothing but this is core library. You have to import the jQuery core library. So we have to do that from node modules jQuery dist jQuery.js. Right. Now, second point is access jQuery factory and return all functions. For that, you have to write like this. Or you can write in this way also. Another technique is there are so many methods, you can use any. Another, or we can define a script and a dollar document dot ready. It uses a callback function. Like this you can define document dot ready. So all rules are same like JavaScript. That means capitalization matters, case sensitive, everything same. All the JavaScript language basics are same. Variable, data type, operators, statements, functions, everything. Browser objects, window objects, output functions. Some changes are there which I will tell you. So this is how you can configure. You can write like this also, document.ready. Document.ready is automatically when DOM is ready. DOM is ready means page is loaded. Before the page loaded, if you want some functionality to happen, the first syntax is good, because sometimes you want certain functionality to happen before the DOM loaded. So whenever the page is requested, some functionalities are related to only DOM manipulations, then you can write in document ready. If you are doing more than DOM manipulation, then better go with first one. Both are same. Not same. First one is on loading of page, it will get ready. Second one, after loading the page, when DOM is loaded, then the second one will get ready. Second one is good only for DOM manipulations, but first one is for everything. DOM manipulation, initializations, everything. So better go with the first one. So what we will do here, so it is ready. Okay, it is ready. Now what is the specialty here? How JavaScript takes control over HTML. So many methods we have learned, like DOM hierarchy, get element by tag name, element by class name, get element by ID, get element by name. So many reference techniques are there. What is advantage here in JavaScript? That means in jQuery. So here jQuery jQuery reference techniques. jQuery reference techniques. What are the jQuery reference techniques? Very simple. So jQuery can refer HTML elements by using all CSS selectors. By using all CSS selectors. All CSS selectors. By using all CSS selectors, it can refer. So that means it can use $P. So this is referring to paragraph. So that means it is type selected. $hash para1. This is, I am using hash means it is ID selected. It is ID selected. I'm using $para2. So I'm using dot means it is class selected. You can use all the selectors, attribute selector, rational selectors, pseudo selectors, everything. Whatever selectors you learned in CSS, you can use them. So it is more easier way of referring HTML elements. You don't need functions like document.query selector, document.get element by ID. You just need a factory, dollar and type ID, class, whatever you want, you can configure. Now that is how we refer. And another point is, jQuery DOM methods. jQuery provides some DOM methods which are used for handling the DOM manipulations. DOM methods are nothing but, for example, I will show you few methods like HTML, like text, like val, like attr, like prop, like we have animation methods like append, we have append to, like prepend. So here before, like after. These are all DOM methods. These are all DOM methods, jQuery DOM methods. So referring will be easy and manipulating will be easy. DOM methods are easy to handle. For example, now suppose we want to display some messages. So suppose you see here I am having so heading and ID as heading 1, not say ID as title. Okay, and this is paragraph. After that we have a div. We will have an ID as subtitle. Okay, like this I am just giving. Now see here, I want to access this heading and display some message inside it. Then here HTML is similar to inner HTML. Text is similar to inner text. And value is used for accessing the value. That means it is used for value. This is for attribute. And this is for property. Append and append to you know already. Append means it will add towards the right side. Prepend, it will add towards the left side. Before, after, it will add above and below. These are all various functions. So accessing properties, accessing attributes, values, these are all important. Now here, it's simple. I want to access the heading and display some text. $heading 2 dot text. So what text you want to display? So jQuery, that is the text I want to display. And that's it. That's how we access. And you can see when I run this, so it is working fine. That's it. That means no DOM methods, get element by ID or query selectors. Just you have to define. You don't need to write even body load, on load. Why? Because it's cleanly separated now. So that means earlier our HTML used to have a lot of logic inside presentation, but now presentation and logic are cleanly separated. I will show you more. Here I am using $. So next one is hash. I can access like this also. Instead of heading, let me remove this. Instead of heading, I can access, because what is problem is, suppose there is another heading here. There is another heading here. Both will be there. I want to apply only to the first heading, then you can use hash, right? You can use hash and what? Title. And in that it will display. It will display. You can access by ID. Okay. Suppose I want to access the paragraph. If I want to access the paragraph, then I will just put $p dot html. Here I am presenting. You can use your html string. Inner text means inner text. It will not allow formats. Here it will allow formats. I will put bold, and here I will put a message like italic. So, and I say like write less, do more, like this. And this is written inside that paragraph, inside the paragraph. Suppose I want to access subtitle. Suppose let's put this as class. And if I want to access that subtitle, then I have to use dollar dot subtitle, that is class. And dot html or dot text, here I have to define something like, so DOM manipulation using jQuery, like this. Some message I am giving, and it will display that message. That's how we can access the values and we can use the values. That's very simple, that you can manage by using this technique. For example, if I want to get the values, I will show you now options here. This is an example I'm pasting here. This is example. Okay, for example, now you want to handle the events. So that means on button click, we need to collect the value and display the values and configure them. So here, very important, jQuery events, all JavaScript events, all JavaScript events are same, are same, are same in jQuery. All JavaScripts are events are same in jQuery. Only the point here is, that means here syntactically we write like this. That means here, so suppose we write here on click we write as click. So we have on change, we write as change. We have on blur, we write as blur. That is the point. Another point is, another point is here, so no event handler, no event handler. We don't have a event handler for elements. Earlier in JavaScript, actually we have a button. So for button we have on click. On click is equal to some insert click. This is event handler. This is event handler. But in jQuery, there will be nothing like that. It will be simply button click, button click. It will use a callback function. That's it. It will use a callback function. That means we don't write anything inside presentation. We write everything inside logic. That means generally in HTML, we have to write in HTML JavaScript, we have to write in HTML. Means inside HTML element, we have to write on click and all. But here everything is written by using the logic reference only. That means your HTML contains only presentation. So, and logic is separate, cleanly separated from logic and presentation. Logic and presentation. One more problem here is, not problem, another point is, only event is allowed. Only event is allowed as event argument. Only event is allowed as event argument. There is no this keyword. There is no this keyword here. Actually, in general JavaScript event, we have two event arguments. One is this, another one event. But in jQuery, there will be only one. Only one. What is it? Event. Then how to get object properties? That means we write like this actually. So that means we write like this: dollar button dot click. We will use a function, and important here is this function will use an event argument. It will use event argument. Then how to access? You can access event dot client X. So you can access event dot client Y. These are event related properties. How to access object related properties? Event dot target dot name. That is object related property. Similarly, event dot target dot ID, like that. So these are event properties, and these are object properties. So object related properties, event related properties, both are accessed by using one reference. So there are no two references, only one reference. How this works? Let's see. So let's see this. So it will be more clear actually. I copied this program. Yeah. Now see how event is defined. Suppose I remove this. Now here I have a button, and button is insert. Button have a name called btn insert. Button have a class so called btn primary, like that. Now important, for this button we have to write click event. Earlier we have to write inside the button itself, but now simple. So dollar button. So there itself is cleanly separated. If there are so many buttons, we can access by using reference ID. You have to keep. Suppose I keep an ID as btn insert. Then here how to access that ID? Hash btn insert dot click. That's it. On click, it will use a callback function. This function accepts only one parameter. What is it? Event. That is formal parameter. You can give any name. Its reference will be event only. Event. And here we can access document.write. I am using some details. What are the details here? So x is equal to x position. How we can get? We can get the x position by using e dot client x. Similarly, how to get the y position? Y position you can get by using e dot client y. Suppose I want object related properties, button name. I want to access button name. Then e dot target dot name. That's how we have to access. Suppose I want to access the class. So that means we have to define e dot target dot class name. We have to access class name. Now you can see that. So here, so button click, it will get that and display. This is same like previous what you have learned in JavaScript, but this time it is more clean because you don't need to write anything inside this presentation. The presentation is clean, only the logic. So you need to keep the logic separately defined there. All rest of options are same, no change. Now let's see how we can access and use it. This is one example how events are written. Now let's see one design here. What should happen is I will create a simple design. That means I will say here div. Okay, here I will put your name. Input type is equal to text and id is txt name, and we kept a button as submit. Okay, and below I will keep another div. Here I want to display the message. In a heading I want to show hello, and whatever they entered inside this text box I want to display here inside a span. Inside a span I want to display. I have only one span there, in that we want to display. So this is the presentation. User will enter the name, and after entering the name he click on submit. That means it should get that and display. Now simple, for submit we have to write a click event dollar. What is it? Button. Because I have only one button click, we will use a callback function. Now where to display the value in span? How to collect the span? So we have to collect the span dot html. Inside the span, what you want to display? The value coming from text box. How to access the text box? Dollar hash txt name. The text box have a value val will return the value. That's it. That means whatever the value present in text box, you will get that value and it will display inside the span. So whatever value you entered in text box, you can access it by using val. That is simple. That means now you see here I am entering some name. I click on submit, it should get that and display. That's a simple approach here. After that, suppose I am defining dollar hash txt name dot val is empty. That means empty, nothing is entered inside it. That means after that I kept it empty, make it empty. That means I entered some name and click on submit, and I made this text box empty after entering it. So that's simple. That's how we can manage. That is the approach how we can define. This looks very small, very less logic. So earlier we have to write this with lengthy document get element by id. So the text box dot value display inside the span. Again document get element by id or query selector span in that inner html. This is simple. 2 lines logic is enough for this. Now this makes the process more easier, faster, right? So suppose, so I will copy this now. I will paste it here. This is an example. Okay. Suppose I want to display the message. I want to display the message hello without this submit button. While typing itself, I want to show. Then how? While typing itself inside the text box, I want to display. Then how? We know how. Dollar hash txt name. What is it? Text box. Text box have key up event. On key up, we have to use a callback function. What we want to do? Same. Whatever entered in text box, we have to collect and display inside the span. Span.html is nothing but hash txt name. dot what val, whatever value entered inside it. Now this we are writing on key up. That means while writing itself, it will display. That's how we manage the events. Manage the events. Here it is very clean. Inside the presentation, no logic. Presentation separate, logic separate. It is easy for handling the interactions. So this makes everything simplified. This is another example I will give here, like key up combination, how you define that is the basic approach of specifying the contents and defining them. This makes easy, but here what is the point you have seen is, here you have seen val is value, and attr is attribute, and prop is property. Sometimes the problem is you have to access the attribute and use it. For example, if I want to know checkbox checked or not, how do we know checkbox checked or not? That means for that we have to use checked. Checked is a property. We have to access that property and use it. I want to use properties, then I can use prop. I want to use attributes, I can use attribute. What is difference between attribute and property? Already I told you, if you remembered. So table don't have, suppose, height. Table don't have height as a property, but table is having height as an attribute. Then how to control the height of table dynamically? For that we have to use as attribute only. So such points requires this attribute and value. For example, see, suppose I want to define here, another option is, suppose I will put a div here and say stock, and here I will put a input type is equal to checkbox, id is stock. Okay, so here I defined as a span, and I am keeping the span empty, available. So I will keep empty. Now what I am doing is, here I am accessing the span dot html. I will say available. That means it is displaying that available. So by default I will keep as out of stock. So it is out of stock. When I select this, it should be available, and I deselect, it should be out of stock. That value should change. Then how to handle? What is the event I should write? For checkbox, which event? So we have to access the checkbox. What is it? Stock. When it is change, we have to use the event change, right? Change. On change, what should happen? Change uses a callback function. What you have to identify? Whether it is checked or not. That means here we are defining a simple condition here. If what? Dollar hash, what is it? Stock, hash stock what? Checked. I am using checked. But here you observe, if I am defining dot checked is a property, right? And here if it is checked, then what we have to do? Hash span. So dot html, we have to say available. This is the message I want to display. Now you observe here, when I say selected, it's not working. You observe the problem here. Is there any problem in the console? You can see here in the console, there is no problem for that. But actually in JavaScript, we write like this, checked. So this is stock checked. First, you need to observe here what that stock checked is returning. So let's try that. That means console.log. What is it? Dollar hash. What is it? Stock. Stock.checked. Checked. I want to print some message there because I want to know what it is returning actually. Then I selected there undefined. It is returning that undefined. It is returning undefined. That means checked is not defined. Means if it is returning undefined means there is no checked. Why there is no checked? There is checked. But in JavaScript, you can directly access the properties and attributes. But here you have to use the option prop. What is the property? Property name. Property name is what? Checked. Checked. That means now I am using that property name checked. Then you see here, I select here, then it says true. I deselect here, then it says false. That means you have to access the properties directly in JavaScript. Get element by ID dot property. But here in jQuery, we have to access by using prop. Properties are accessed by using prop. That means now here you can print the message. What we have to do? So let's put here dollar hash span inside the span dot HTML. In the HTML, I will use backtick. I will use backtick. In the backtick, so I will write expression. So dollar, so that is the expression. And here in the expression, we have to access the properties. How do we access it? You see, you can write a ternary operator or configure it, or directly you can define. That means what we have to do, if dollar, what is it? Hash stock, right? Stock dot what? Property. Property is what? Checked. Checked. Then what should happen? That is the condition we are writing. If it is checked, if it is checked, that means it is returning true. Then what should happen? I should show a message. What is it? Available. Or otherwise, I should say out of stock. Like this, I am defined. So this makes your logic simplified. Makes your logic simplified. Actually, this is an expression that returns true or false. I will put that expression in a curly brace just for your understanding sake. That means now the expression is returning the value and it is displaying available out of stock. So that is how you have to handle with the help of jQuery. It is nothing confusion. If you feel this confusion, that means you are zero in JavaScript. If you feel like, oh, what is this? So much confusion is there in this code. That means you haven't learned anything in JavaScript then. So that is what JavaScript teaches you. How do we write the expressions? What you have learned newly in jQuery here is events process changed, event style changed, how you write the event changed. Logic is same, nothing changed. Only the reference technique changed. That means how you refer the element, how you refer the element properties. So how you refer the element? Simple, ID, type. How you refer the properties of the element? By using prop. By using prop. If you want to know whether it is checked, if you want to know what is its attribute, but if you want to get its value, there is an option. Directly you can use val. Val will return its value. Is it text box? Is it radio? Its value can be directly accepted by using val. For example, see now, checkbox okay. This checkbox is okay. I will put another heading. So I will put another heading, shipped to. And here I will define, so another select here. And we will have an option like Delhi. We will have an option like Hyderabad. So this is having ID as LST cities. When the cities are changed, I want to display the city name beside it, span. But I have multiple spans now. So for this span, I will give an ID. What is it? LBL, some stock. Then how to access that here? We have to just use here, instead of span, hash LBL stock. So here also we have to define hash LBL stock. And very important, now when user is changing this drop down, I want to display that here, ID LBL city there. Then you have to write the logic here. What is the logic? Another event we have to write. What is another event? Dollar hash. So what is it? LST cities. LST cities change. Change is a callback function. We have to get the value and display inside hash LBL city. LBL city.html. HTML. Here I want to display selected city. Selected city, which one? The value of drop down. How to collect the drop down? So dollar hash LST cities dot val. It will return the value of the drop down. Earlier, what we have to do? Document get element by ID and that reference and access dot value. Here we can directly access the value. That means now when user is selecting a city, city name should come. When user is selecting the city and when user is choosing this, it will display. These are managed easily by using jQuery. This is how real-time project will have the logic. All these days, what you have seen is just knowledge of JavaScript. We don't use that in real world. This is what we use in real world projects. So you need to be very perfect in JavaScript first to understand this, right? And you have to use this in the projects. That is what project is built with, right? Complete. You see, suppose we have Google. Let's open Google and view the page source. So inspect. And in Google inspect, you see head section. In head section, you see some script elements are there. And you see the script. This is all jQuery only. This is jQuery. All the jQuery function will be there here. Everything jQuery only. Anonymous, jQuery, and variables and all these are JavaScript. Na? That means the language is JavaScript, but the library is jQuery. Suppose I want here, that means more clean way. Suppose I will show you. See, more lengthy, clean way how we can manage that. So I will give an example. So suppose I want to collect the value and of this city, then where city is equal to, how to collect the value of city? Dollar hash, what is it? LST cities dot val. This is collecting the value from drop down. That value must be displayed inside a span. Then what we have to do? Dollar hash LBL city dot HTML is equal to, here I want to display selected city. Selected city, which one? The variable is what? City. That's how we have to write. But at this level of programming, you should not write several lines of logic. You came to jQuery to reduce the logic. Then you should not write all the lengthy logic that you have learned. Right now you need to keep it short. That's what previously I done, everything in one line. Everything in one line. Now this is also same. The concept is same. Working is same. The way how you presented is different. Collecting the value, storing in a variable. Variables, data types, operators, statements, functions, so OOP concepts, everything same. Only the change is the ready-made functions we are having. The approach towards events, the approach towards the DOM is different. It makes more convenient. I will show you now. I will show you here. So how the iterations are handled. That means jQuery iterations. jQuery iterations you can simply depend on by using $each. $each is used for iterations. It's very simple. So syntactically what we do is, so $each, it accepts the data and it uses a callback function. So what is the ability of this callback function is, it will return the key and value. That means actually earlier we have to read the keys by using for in, we have to read the values by using for off, but now we can read both by using just each. It will read both keys and values. First one is key, second one is value. Order is important, how we can perform iteration and how we can access. Suppose, see, now presenting the data how it happens. See, let's do this now. I will clean up, and here I just keep here a heading. So select category, and here we have an array. Categories is an array. So that is, we have electronics, we have footwear, and we have fashion. I want to loop these and display in the drop down. So we have a drop down below, just empty drop down, nothing is there. We just have an empty drop down. Then what we have to do, simple, we have to use $each. And what is the data? Data is categories, and it uses a callback function. In this callback function, we will read the key and we will read the values. First parameter is key. Key means 0, 1, 2. Properties it will access. Value means the values inside it. We want to print these values as, we have to print these values as option inside drop down. Earlier what we have to do, we have to create element, document dot create element option, but now nothing. Simply you have to put a dollar and write your element option. And why I am using backtick, you know, backtick allows expression inside it. Inside that option I have to put value, that's it. Now this option should be added to drop down. That means dot append to, dot append to, dot append to. Append to whom? Append to drop down. Drop down is what? Select. Append to drop down, select. That's appended to drop down. Finish. Earlier we have to write lengthy logic for that. That means here no document create elements and all. So I have to just create my element through string technique only. Through string, you create your element, add. So that's it. So that means this makes the process simplified. That's how we need to handle the iteration. Suppose now if it is a multi-level iteration, suppose you see here, suppose I want to define a complex one. Let's take a complex one now. I have an ordered list, OL ordered list. And I want here where categories is equal to, it is an object. It is, I will say, suppose where menu. Okay. This menu is having a category. Category is electronics. Inside the category, we have products. Products is again an array. So we have like TV, we have like mobile. If you remembered, we learned nested iterations. So we have another category, and the category is footwear. And we have products. Products is like, so shoe and like some boot, something like this. Now I want to present in a nested way. Then what we have to do, dollar dot each. What is the data? Menu. So menu, and we use a callback function. In that we have key and we have value. Value is nothing but suppose item. You can give any reference name. And what we have to do, first I have to add dollar. I have to create a list item, li. Okay, add this list item to where? This list item should contain what? Item dot category. And where to add this? Dot append to. Append to which one? Ordered list. It is added to ordered list. So it is there. Inside this, we need another iteration. That means another dollar each. This time iteration is item dot products. That is the data. It uses a callback function. In this callback function, we have to use some inner key, right? And this is inner item or say product. Why? Because you cannot use same reference names in the lower level of hierarchy. Now, what we have to do, we have to create. So let's create dollar. We have to create an unordered list. Okay. In this unordered list, we need to create a list item. Okay. In this list item, we need to display the product. And where to add this? Append to ordered list. That means it will add to ordered list. That is multi-level hierarchy. And you know the pain of multi-level hierarchy when you're done in JavaScript. So much complexity. You have to create inner. Already we have it na? In JavaScript, where in JavaScript arrays. Yeah, you can see this is arrays. Same logic na. But you see this much lengthy concept we have to write. Arrays when you are presenting the data. So this is the lengthy logic you have to write. You have to create a list item. We have to add the item. We have to add it. Now this all done in a simple way. That means until you practice, it looks like confusion because lot of reference techniques are changed. But once you start using it, you will never prefer JavaScript. So directly JavaScript, because here every logic is JavaScript only. Only the point is reference techniques, right? So this will be more easy, generating tables and all. We will do one thing. We will design the shopping cart example that we have done the same in jQuery. Then other examples you can try by yourself now. Then we will see what is new in jQuery. That means some animations, effects, Ajax, how it works in jQuery. That we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we will do. First you need to practice all this, right? Then we can go into more complex in jQuery, how to work with them. right? Tomorrow we will see.